Hey everyone, Anthony 4x4 Adventures. Yes, it's not a vehicle inspection as much as it's a pre-trip touring Australia on outback, corrugated, dusty roads, vehicle check, some things to think about and check. So we're going to go over this vehicle for about 10 minutes. I'm going to go over the top things that I see come loose and fall off and get damaged or lost or spoil a trip when touring Australia's outback. Let's start at the front. Number one, if you've got a bull bar, one of the many downsides to having a bull bar is you've got a lot of aftermarket accessory hardware that will fall apart or possibly come loose. So you want to start by checking, even with the factory ARB cover here, even though this is the aftermarket Kaon one with more airflow for a bit extra cooling, these bolts are always coming loose, falling out, and then this cover comes down and gets bent around your bash plate and you don't even know. Obviously check both ends underneath there as well. If you can get to those, check all your bash plate bolts, check these side wings as well. You can see this one's gone from there. I've cut that off because guess what? It cracked across there anyway, and I went, you know what? You don't need it there anyway. Surely it's not giving any strength. It's only very thin. It's only one mounting point, so, you know, completely sheared off there. So we just got rid of it. This is the sort of thing, if you use your vehicle off-road, this is the sort of thing, you know, you can expect to happen because it happened on both sides. It's not a one-off. This vehicle used to do all the touring around Australia. Now we spread the load a bit, but it's about to head off on another big journey. So make sure all your bull bar mounting bolts are also tight, so on the inside there, but it's not usual that they come loose. You might as well check those. Anything aftermarket, when your suspension was installed, those three nuts up the top, make sure they're tight. If anyone's done anything with your upper control arms, make sure your upper control arm bolt, the big bolt that goes through the middle, check that. You can check this nut at the bottom of the shock and make sure that's tight. This has got a split pin, it's not going anywhere. Your 17mm on the back of that top of that link pin on the other side, just check, make sure that's tight. Make sure these are tight. 14mm here, your sway bar D, bush, whatever the case may be, just make sure they're tight. It's all about were they installed correctly in the first place, not so much as, you know, it doesn't normally come loose, just depends if they tighten those up. Check these, tighten them up. Just make sure your bash plates are tight. Have a look at your pan, make sure there's no bolts missing. Underneath here, these don't come loose. All your genuine stuff doesn't come loose. Your aftermarket fuel tank guard, as tough and strong as it is, and yes, it's taken a hit there, check the bolts because you don't know if they're going to come loose. It is an aftermarket design, so it has only been out for years. It hasn't been out for decades. It's not as old as Toyota. So the Toyota engineering, the nuts and bolts and the systems, everything stays tight. Nothing comes loose on its own, okay? As long as the whole vehicle was worked on correctly, you won't have any issues. It's the aftermarket stuff. But if you want, you can check the back of these calipers. You can check the mounting bolt here, there, and there. You can check your axle bolts if you like. Just make sure in case anyone's worked on it. If it hasn't been worked on, you won't have a problem. Always replace that fuel hose if it's a 120. If you've never done that, once you've done it, you should be right. You can check your diff oil if you like. I'll be more keeping an eye on this breather. Make sure it's always like that and you won't have any problems. You don't need any diff breathers. This vehicle doesn't need it. You don't need it, okay? Okay, let's keep looking. These lower arm bushes, don't worry about that. We're not doing a safe inspect. We're telling you what comes loose. Nothing comes loose if it hasn't been worked on. You can check those if you like, if it's been worked on. Okay, what else have we got? We've got aftermarket heavy-duty side steps, right? So check all these bolts, make sure they're tight. I'm about to go and do that now, right? I'm going to go and check all those. I've checked them before. I'll check them again because I don't work on cars on trips, okay? So everybody needs to watch this. If you're going on a trip touring and you don't want to work on your car and you don't want to pay someone else to or expect them to, exorbitant prices out in the middle of nowhere on a weekend, or probably waiting weeks to get any service anyway. So you better figure it out yourself and start watching all these videos on both channels. Like I keep saying, as long as nothing's been worked on, I'm looking around for anything else where it's going to come loose. You can check these nuts if you like, and you can check the bolts at the front, okay, around here at the bolt as well if you just want to make sure, but they should be tight. There's not much else, to be honest. I'll have a think about it as far as things coming loose, it's check all your aftermarket stuff, basically. Isn't that what we just really went through? All those things happen to be aftermarket. No, we don't need to check these bolts or these bolts or these bolts or the tail shaft bolts or anything like that unless it's been worked. If it's been worked on, then don't trust anyone. Check 4 of those. Don't trust anyone except the workshop partners, right? Okay, so I'm going to get the spanners out, go check these. This fuel filter every 20,000 Ks. Take a spare one on the trip. They can become blocked. Be prepared for if you have a fuel transfer problem. That means you won't get to use your last 20, 30, 40 litres of fuel. You'll run out short. You shouldn't be too far from anywhere if you were that low. But be prepared if you can, because on your rear fuel tank, it's got a drain plug. It's probably a 17mm, I don't know. Mate, you know what'd be good? This is a K-On thing, actually. If they could make a fitting for us, like a Fomoto valve, where we can just buy off them a fitting that goes in there with a valve that you'd quickly take that out and put that in with a bit of hose so you can turn it on and off. And a little container could be a kit that comes from a car. There you go, another idea I'm going to let them know. It's a little 5-litre container kit with a hose and with a Fomoto valve, a 5-litre thing, so you can drain. You take that out, you quickly put the plug in, you drop 5 litres out, you pour it in, you drop 5 and you just keep doing that. And because the fuel, when you tip it back in, your filler up there, this pipe, it's up there, wherever it is up there, comes down and it goes into that tank first, and that's what's going to run the car. It will return to the back tank and whatever, and you'll probably run out again, but at least you'll be closer to the servo or you'll get there. So you just learned something. So we're just doing a vehicle, not inspection. I'm thinking, what's going to come loose? Nothing on this car because I've worked on it for the last 10 years, so it's all good. Well, maybe one other market, but anyway, we'll see. He likes to leave bolts loose, mate. These ones over here. Anyway, a little bit of oil sweat, but that's all good. It's a bit of a test to see if he watches the video. If he does, he can send me video malaka as a comment. But anyway, yeah, there's that Anderson plug wire. It's pretty, it's pretty neat. There's no fuse on it yet. I'll probably add one in up the top there, but it's corrugated split tubing all the way. It's not ideal without a fuse. Should have a fuse on everything, but I have checked it to make sure. I'm super happy with how it's been routed, and it's not going to rub through on anything. So I'm really not worried about that at all whatsoever, but I'll probably add the fuse on anyway. See if I get around to it. Bada bing, I'll tighten up some stuff. I'll let you know if I find anything loose. If I don't, that's a video. Subscribe, turn the bell on. We'll catch you on the next one. Nothing to see here. It's just a Toyota and it's going to do the drive. Happy days. Actually, I always forgot, didn't I, right? 110 Newton meters. Now, why do I say 110? Some of the books say 108, some say 113. Doesn't really matter. About 110 Newton meters is the main thing. Just make sure that's what they are. Don't trust anyone. Aftermarket wheels, very unreliable. Can shear studs off. They can come loose. You really got to go genuine wheels if you can. And keep an eye on those wheel nuts at 110 Newton meters. All right, so I've been over it. We'll just go over what I found. Got a little bit out of these. 8 bolts, 4 each side. Probably 1/8 of a turn. These were rock solid because I know about those. These probably all got 1/8 or something of a turn. I'm going F-tight. These were tight. Haven't checked anything on the bull bar yet. These were tight. Bash plates, I've got a little bit. Fuel tank guard, got a little bit out of those. I lubed the driveline wire out as well. Checked all the propeller shafts, make sure there's no play in the uni joints, anything like that. Down the back here, I haven't checked anything. There's nothing to check down here. Just going it over all again. I don't need to check the calipers. I did the brakes, so it's all good. There's always a chance something could come loose, but what else did I find? Oh, side steps was the main one. Yeah, fair bit out of the side steps. These are the powerful 4x4. We've got some aftermarket little nut blocks that we've put in there. So these are 19mm. So these are all nice and tight. And I got a little bit out of those, a little bit out of those. A little bit of these are not much because they're easy to get to. Same over this side, easy to get to, so not much out of those. These things are rubbish. They're those U-bolt things that go in and come out the other side. This one was tight, that's good. Bad news is this one's tight. Bad news is that one. I reckon probably previously, whether it's over tightened or I wasn't happy with how it pulled in, but I believe that nut there is just spinning on the spot. So I tried to loosen it to put more washers to bring the thread out to here, but it wasn't coming out either. So it's not going in or out, but it's not going anywhere. Other part of the bad news is Chinese stuff, so they're about 10 years old. They came off my previous Prado. If I push there, I think I'm going to push a hole. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to cut my hand. But structurally, that part coming out and the rest of it's okay, but and the outer one's okay. So we're not going to lose that side step yet, but if you hit it, That's what makes a lot of the racket, if there's any racket. So powerful 4x4, rock armour. Just know all that scrap metal you thought you did all right when you took it to scrap metal, that's what you got back. They gave you the rubbish of the rubbish. So yeah, hopefully send an email to Kaon and say, look, we'd really love some Australian-made heavy-duty rock sliders for our Hiluxes and Prados, because they still haven't said no. I've spoken to them again. I'm talking to the CEO, not just one of the kids that works there. So I need to get onto the right people, and if there's enough interest, it's a big ticket items. It should be good for them. It's good for us. Do it once, do it right, because soon I'll be doing it again. If they don't do it, probably got to get someone else to make some. I've got a couple other people in mind, but they won't be able to mass produce for you guys like Kaon might be able to. So yeah, fuel tank guard, you can see, you know, I'll go on a Titan Door, you can see it's all real. It's a real thing that's happening. So check your cars before a trip, especially if you're coming with me, because we don't want to be having, oh, I've just got to look at this, I've got to rattle on this, I've got to this, I've got to that, you know what I mean? And it's always the aftermarket stuff. Also start at the top, roof racks, antennas, antenna brackets, everything. Anything aftermarket, just go over the bolts. So what have I got to go? I'm going to do the bull bar, some of the mounting bolts and stuff like that, the ones that I can get to, some of them from the top. And, you know, things like that, just check them. Like I said, check these, just check everything you can get to. Bit of common sense if you watch the inspection videos. This one's probably your key one, but you can have a look on 4x4 Diesel. That'll give you some ideas on things to check. The playlist, service, inspection playlist. But this is looking good. Yeah, a little bit of grease there. Don't worry about that. That's all normal. That one's probably getting a bit of wear and tear on it. This one's pretty good at the moment. But bada bing, it's not about that. So bada boom, catch you on the trip. See ya.